Well, time has run out for residents on the New South Wales south coast. 2 weeks ago, a massive controversial offshore wind farm earmarked for the Illawarra was given the green light. That means up to 300 turbines will stretch right across the coastline. Each of them will stand up to 260 metres tall and sit 20 kilometres offshore. Locals are understandably furious. They can't believe their pristine coastline, which is world-renowned, will be home to a huge renewable energy project. But residents on the south coast aren't the only ones in this position. You see, locals in the Hunter have been dealt another blow. Last year, Chris Bowen and the federal government deemed the area suitable for offshore wind as well. The offshore wind zone is expected to cover more than 1,800 square kilometres between the Central Coast and Port Stephens. And late last week, residents were hit with more and more bad news. Without any community consultation, locals say Labor issued a preliminary feasibility licence for a wind farm. It was issued to Nova Castian Wind, a consortium between the Norwegian oil and gas company Equinor and Ocean X. It will give them the ability to conduct environmental and engineering studies, and from there, it puts them in the driver's seat for a commercial licence. Ben Abbott is the president of No Offshore Turbines Port Stephens, and I'm pleased to say he joins us on the line. Ben, good morning to you.
Morning, Mark.
Well, mate, the Hunter's been left blindsided. You say the local community had no say in who the feasibility issue and licence was issued to.
No, we don't have any say at all, mate. It's been the case from the start. It's been silence from the government, silence from the minister's office, and he won't meet with locals, won't come up here, and we're just being shut out. There's been a vacuum of information. We've been handed 2 small documents. You can find more on the website and his department's website. But we're 12 months down the track from where those guys down in the Illawarra are, and we're hoping they won't get there either. But probably one of the bigger concerns is that the proponents are going to be responsible for their own feasibility studies. So we don't have an independent body to do any studies. It's the developers out here, the corporations, the investment corporations, they're going to do the studies. Who knows what they're going to find? I don't reckon they'll find anything.
Yep, that's the thing. And, I was looking at a statement put out by Chris Bowen this morning, Ben, on June 20. It said, consultation with First Nations groups, communities, unions and marine users will continue throughout the feasibility licence process while environmental studies and a detailed management plan is prepared. So you weren't consulted on who the feasibility licence was handed to, but you'll be asked about it once the process has started. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, it definitely doesn't. It's putting the cart before the horse. So one of the main stakeholders up here are the Game Fishing Club. It's the biggest and best game fishing spot in the whole of Australia, and they're the main stakeholders that they are up here with it at the moment that we can see, and they haven't been consulted prior to these licences being let alone the rest of the community or any of the organisations that it will affect, like the end of the industry. The tourism industry or rec fishing or commercial fishing. We are not aware of any consultation whatsoever before the letting of these feasibility licences at all.
I understand, Ben, that you actually drove from Port Stephens to Canberra for a meeting with the Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, last year. Did anything actually come out of that meeting, or was it an attempt by him to keep you happy?
The overall feeling is an attempt by him to keep us happy. There was some sort of education. He sort of got some sort of understanding of where we're at, but no, nothing's been done since. So, there's been some concerns around the fishing exclusion zones. He's just come out recently and said there's going to be a 50-metre exclusion zone. Well, that's not as per their legislation. Legislation says a minimum of 500 metres. And quite a lot of documentation we see, it's up to a nautical mile, which is 1.8 kilometres. So you won't be fishing in around them. There'll be lockouts. There'll be no ability to get in through around them at all.
And I don't think people realise how big these things are. 260 metres tall. That's twice the size of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And I mean, you put that into perspective. We're talking about an eyesore off the coast, aren't we?
Massive eyesore, and this place is built on recreational fishing and tourism up here. So I know what I'd be doing if I was looking for a holiday spot coming out of Sydney. I'd be going straight past here and up the coast. It's not sort of thing, and you will be able to see it. It is proven. We've taken MPs out onto the boat to the area. It'll be easily visible. But they're not the biggest things either. You know, it's the biggest thing planned. The biggest one at the moment is 11 of them in the North Sea, and they're currently into power and oil rig. And there's 300 of these planned to go off the coast. That's an experiment in anyone's language, and it's right in the way of a migratory whale path, and it's not been done anywhere on Earth so far.
Just one last one, Ben. You started No Offshore Turbines Port Stephens to protest against this incoming project. Out of interest, mate, how many community members have joined you in this fight to try and stop this from happening?
9,600. Well, about 10 short of 9,600, and the people who are with us up here, which is I see as a majority, we're just up in arms, really up in arms. That such a ludicrous scheme can be pushed so far ahead without any sort of recognition of social licence or anything like that at all.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. I mean, the amount of red tape you've got to jump through just to build a house these days or to get something done, yet the federal government thinks they can just come in and do this without the proper consultation. It's not right, and it doesn't pass the pub test to which we often refer on this radio station. Pen, keep fighting the good fight, and if you hear any more, you let us know, okay?
Thanks, Mark.
Good on you, buddy. Ben Abbott from No Offshore Turbines Port Stephens. You just shake your head. I mean, fancy having a meeting with Chris Bowen and he's trying to educate you. Does he actually know what he's doing, the Energy Minister? I think we all know the answer to that.
For more of The Ben Fordham Show, watch live weekdays 5:30 till 9 a.m. on 2GB.com.